What if I told you that putting tariffs on Chinese goods could potentially affect your religious freedom? Sounds crazy, right? But recent economic analysis reveals a startling connection between trade restrictions and religious liberty that could affect every American. So let's start with some hard numbers. The Penn-Wharton Budget Model of the incoming Trump 2 administration projects that proposed protectionist policies would shrink America's GDP, reduce wages, and slash investments. But here's what makes the story fascinating. These visible costs are just the tip of the iceberg. Like a massive iceberg's hidden mass beneath the water, the most dangerous aspects of protectionism lurk beneath the surface. So, how does protectionism lead to religious restrictions? The connection is more direct than you might think. When governments implement protectionist policies, they need to create three things. First, they need to create monitoring systems to track goods and services. Second, of course, we need enforcement mechanisms to ensure compliance. And third, bureaucratic structures are needed to manage restrictions. Once these systems are in place, they rarely remain confined to their original purpose. So let's consider some real-world examples. First, China's social credit system started as economic monitoring, now tracks religious activities. This restricts both trade and worship. Russia's foreign agent laws initially targeted economic activities, but now restrict religious organizations. So this also controls both trade and faith practices. A third example comes from the 19th century. Mormon persecution began with economic restrictions, and this led to eventually, of course, religious restrictions. So it shows the pattern even in fairly recent American history. So here's a crucial insight. The same government agencies that monitor trade flows can, and often do, monitor religious activities. The same databases that track economic transactions can track religious donations. The same enforcement mechanisms that punish trade violations can punish religious practices. Consider this remarkable pattern. The world's 12 most religiously diverse countries all outpaced global economic growth between 2008 and 12. This is not a coincidence. When societies protect religious freedom, they tend to be more innovative, less corrupt, and more economically dynamic. Both religious and economic liberty rely on the same foundations: voluntary exchange, protection from arbitrary government power, open competition of ideas, and of course, institutional neutrality. History proves this connection. When France revoked religious tolerance in 1685, they lost their most innovative merchants and craftsmen to rival nations. Today, we see the same patterns in China, right? And this may help explain why their firms struggle to move beyond imitation to true innovation. 9 of the 10 most corrupt countries also have severe restrictions on religious liberty. This is not a coincidence, it's causation. The data shows that 85% of countries with high trade barriers also have high religious restrictions. Countries with strong property rights and protection are 3 times more likely to have strong religious freedom. Economic freedom and religious liberty scores show a 76% correlation. So as we debate trade policy in 2024 and beyond, remember, freedom isn't divisible. When we restrict it in one domain, we inevitably compromise it in others. The choice isn't just between protection and free trade, it's between a society that embraces liberty in all its forms and one that seeks false security restrictions. If you found this analysis valuable, hit subscribe and join us at the Liberty and the Lotus newsletter for more information about freedom's architecture.